Season 8 of The Walking Dead is premiering very soon, so here's a recap of what happened in Season 7 to get you prepared for Sunday night. Season 7 saw the loss of Abraham, Glenn, Olivia, Spencer, Sasha, and some other people we really don't care about. So let's jump into what happened last season. The premiere showed who Negan killed. Abraham. Daryl unfortunately loses his cool and hits Negan, leading Negan to
I will shut that shit down!
And brutally murders Glenn. Rick, being our Rick, tells Negan he's going to kill him, leading Negan to take Rick in an RV for a little one-on-one mindfuck session. When they return to the group, Negan orders Rick to cut off Carl's arm. When Rick is finally about to do it, Negan stops him saying, "They belong to him." Rick replies, and Negan takes off with his men, plus Daryl, leaving the group to pick up the pieces. Literally and figuratively. We see at this point that Rick is just a broken man. Maggie and Sasha end up taking the bodies of Glenn and Abraham to Hilltop, their original destination, in order to see a doctor because Maggie is sick. Even though she's sick and she just witnessed the death of her husband, Maggie is all on board to fight and destroy Negan. Meanwhile, at the sanctuary, which is located in an old factory complex, we see that Daryl is in a cell and eating dog food sandwiches. He also is forced to listen to a song that we all had in our heads after this episode for an ungodly amount of time. Despite trying to break Daryl, Daryl refuses.
Who are you?
Negan.
While all this is happening, Morgan finally tracks down Carol, who left Alexandria, wanting to be free and incredibly suicidal. Morgan breaks his dumb no-killing rule to save Carol from a savior, and afterwards 2 men on horseback arrive and take them back to their home, called the Kingdom. Inside this walled community that was built in an old school campus, we see one of my favorite characters in the comics, Ezekiel, the philosopher king that also has a pet tiger named Shiva. In one of the worst episodes of the season, it is revealed that during a scavenger mission with Heath, Tara gets separated and she ends up on a beach where she is found by 2 girls of the Oceanside group who made their home in the Oceanside Cabin Motor Court. After being with them a while, she barely escapes despite them really trying to kill her. At Alexandria, Rick is still a broken man. He realizes how lucky they are that Negan just didn't kill all of them, and he tries as hard as he can to appease the man, especially when Negan drops by and demands some tribute. Rick, through gritted teeth, tries to give the man anything and everything that he wants, but Carl, being the lovable dumb teenager he is, pulls a gun on one of the saviors, and this causes Negan to take all their guns. Negan also mindfucks Rick at this point by having him hold his bat. Needing more tribute, Rick and co start going out on runs, and of course Carl decides to do another impulsive thing. He gets on a truck heading to the sanctuary to try to kill Negan, which goes great. Negan takes Carl back to Alexandria, and we have some really weird family dinner time while they wait for Rick. When Rick arrives, Negan has a pool table brought out and plays with Spencer, who acts like the spineless coward he is, trying to get Negan to kill Rick and put Spencer in charge. Negan humors him and then decides to find out if he has guts. Spoilers, he has lots of them. This leads Rosita, who had Eugene make a bullet for the semi she found, to take aim and shoot at Negan, to hit his bat in a really freak event. In punishment, Negan has one of his followers kill a random Alexandrian. With Olivia dead and figuring out Eugene made the bullet for Rosita, Negan takes Eugene and leaves. This is when we see good old bloodthirsty Rick is back. We missed you. At Hilltop, we have Maggie, Jesus, and Sasha trying to talk Gregory, the douchebag leader of the community, into going to war against Negan, but he refuses because he's a fucking coward, while being a total douchebag to Maggie. Jesus then introduces Rick to the kingdom and Ezekiel, but Ezekiel refuses to fight, saying that they have a pretty good setup. They give tribute to Negan, and Negan never steps foot in the kingdom. However, his lieutenant, Richard, isn't happy with this, wanting to fight and knowing the saviors are bad business. Meanwhile, Carol wants to leave, still hating the person she has become. Ezekiel gets her to settle in a small house outside the kingdom.
Like, maybe you could go and not go.
And adorably visits her. Daryl, after he escapes, and Morgan also visit her at the house. Through these visits, she learns what happened with Negan and that the people she loved are now dead due to the man. Finally, Rambo Carol is back. At the sanctuary, Eugene learns that Negan doesn't want to hurt or kill him, but just use his brilliant mind. Knowing this, Eugene quickly switches side and is now all about Negan.
I'm Negan. I'm utterly, completely, stone cold Negan. I was Negan before I even met you. I just needed to meet you properly to know. I'm Negan.
Eugene enjoys his new position a bit too much and even gets to party with some of Negan's wives, who manipulate him into making a suicide pill, though it is really for Negan. When he discovers their plan to murder Negan with the pill, he doesn't give it to them. Oh, and Eugene also gets a super adorable stuffed animal called Grumbly Gunk. Grumbly Gunk? I don't know. What are we calling it again? Back with the kingdom, Richard sabotages one of the drops and hides a cantaloupe. His hope is for messing up the shipment, Richard will be killed by the saviors, and then Ezekiel will finally fight them. Things go really wrong when they instead kill Benjamin. Richard confesses what he did to Morgan, and at the next drop, Morgan goes into a rage, killing Richard and telling the saviors what he did.
Took one from the cargo, and he hit it. When we stopped, he wanted to get something started between the kingdom and the saviors.
Ezekiel now knows war is coming. And then we meet the Takers, who live in a junkyard and speak in a really stupid way.
Away from Tammy.
I'm really not sure how your speech changes that much in such a short amount of time, but I'm kind of guessing that maybe these people have a mental disability, or maybe they were in a facility together and they just came together post-apocalypse. I don't care, show, if you have a different canon for them. That's my canon to explain that stupidity. Rick asks them to fight, and they do so after he kills Winslow. Jadis demands lots of guns for them to fight, and Rick goes about it. Rick and Michonne go to an army camp for survivors, now all dead, and they get a bunch of supplies. Tara also reveals Oceanside, and they end up going to that location to take the weapons. Meanwhile, Rosita gets a little antsy in her pantsy and talks Sasha into going to the sanctuary on a suicide mission to kill Negan. They try plan A, which is holing up in a building to shoot Negan from far away, but when that doesn't work out, they go to plan B, breaking in at night to kill him. They manage to run into Eugene during this, but he refuses to go with them and runs back inside. Sasha then locks Rosita on the other side of the fence and goes on her one-woman mission. AMC decided we didn't need to see that mission, so the next time we see Sasha, she's in the cell Daryl was in, and Negan is talking to her. Obviously, her mission failed. Negan tries to recruit her, and Eugene visits her and tells her he switched sides so he doesn't have to live in fear. Cue Eugene's actor getting terrible death threats on Twitter because, for some reason, there is a section of people that can't separate actors from the characters they play. Don't be one of those people. They're separate individuals. Sasha pretends to join Negan, who knows what Rick is up to, and heading to Alexandria. Sasha also convinces Eugene to give her the suicide pill. She talks Negan into putting her into the casket to be transported to Alexandria at the beginning of their trip. She takes the suicide pill while listening to music and some of the weirdest close-ups I've ever seen, so she could go star in Star Trek Discovery. And upon reaching the community and opening the casket, Walker Sasha pops out. The fight begins, and the Takers turn against Rick and co. When all seems lost, the kingdom comes to the rescue. And even Maggie arrives with the Hilltop
The widow is alive! Guns are blazing!
to help, basically now the leader of the Hilltop. We end Season 7 knowing that Season 8 is going to be all-out war.
So, We are going to war.
All right, now that you're all caught up, enjoy the Season 8 premiere this Sunday.